In this video, I want to share two important things that every rider should know. These two things are relaxing your toes or unlocking your toes and moving with your horse. The first tip here is relaxing your toes or unlocking your toes. So many riders I see, they get on and they're just kind of tight in their whole body. So what I want you to think about is, can you come out and be intentional about your warm-up? We so often we come out and we warm up with our horses, but we don't ever really warm up with ourselves. So we get on, our bodies are tight, we're stiff, there might be even a little bit of fear in us, and then we tend to grip with our bodies. So the first thing I want you to think about is unlocking your toes. When you get on and you go off, so if I go off walking and I'm going to warm up my horse anyways, and so I like to just kind of let him walk around on a loose rein, and as I'm going, I want to check in with my toes first, because we're going to go from unlocking my toes all the way to my jaw. So I want you to think of everything between your toes and your jaw. Are they soft, loose, and pliable? We start with the toes because that's where the tension, when you're clinching with your toes, that tension just goes all the way up into your body. Why this is so important is if you're tense, you're not moving with the horse. And that's actually the second part of this here, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. But first, start off just walking around, and as you're walking around, check in with your toes. Are your toes loose? Can you play the piano with your toes? And then once that's working pretty well, if you feel tension, move your foot around or move your toes around. So if your toes are tight, put some movement into them. So wiggle your toes. I like to say play the piano with your toes. And then once you've got your toes relaxed, then you're going to think about your ankle. And is your ankle tense or tight? And if it is, move it around. Maybe you swing it around here a little bit, or even sometimes taking it out and just kind of wiggling it around and get some motion in there. Pick your stirrup back up and then just kind of set it down, play with it. And once that feels pretty good, then you're going to check in with your lower leg. From your knee to your heel, is that soft? Is that relaxed? Or are you gripping with it? And if you feel like you're gripping with it, take it and move it around. Now again, I might take my leg out of the stirrup, and even if you need to halt, just kind of swing it around a little bit. So when there's stiffness, if you can put movement into it, helps to relax and soften it. So then we're up to the knee now. So now from the knee to the hip. Your inner thigh here, are you gripping with it, squeezing? This is really common. We get on and we tend to be squeezing with, so see, like with Nisa here, if I squeeze, she shuts off. So really be aware, am I loose or am I clinching down on my horse? So if you feel like you're clinching down, you might just kind of bring your knee up and back, just kind of move it around. Another good exercise is get to where you can lift your knee up and off. It's like if you can hold your hand away and just pick your knee off of the horse. And you might have to do it at a halt first, just kind of move it around and then go walk off and do this. Now with your hips. Are your hips moving with the horse, or is there tension there? Are you kind of banging on your horse? And at the walk, it's usually not that big of a deal. It's when you get into the trot, into the canter, that you're your pelvis or your hips are a little more locked up. And so if you feel like they are here, you might just rotate your body a little bit, and that rotation helps to unlock. So as I'm walking around, I might just reach back with my hand here and just set it down on her back and just kind of go along here as she's walking, and this will help to stretch my pelvis, my lower back. It also helps with the upper back. So then once we've got some mobility going in the pelvis, now how about your lower back? Is your lower back stiff, tight? And if it is, move it around. And then you check in with your middle back, between your shoulder blades. Is that tense? Is that tight? And then you can check in with your shoulders. Is your shoulders tight? Are they able to move around and be soft and loose? Because if there's tension in the shoulders, that's going to get expressed out into your arms. And then how is your neck? And then your jaw. So you're looking at each part of your body as you're walking around in your warm-up. Check in with that and start recognizing each one of us has different areas of our body that tends to be more tight than others. So if it's your toes, focus on those toes, really get those soft. If it's your middle back or your lower back, really check in on that. Move it around. You know, the exercise of bringing your hand back here really helps your whole upper body, from your pelvis all the way up into your shoulders. Because it's, as she's walking around, causes my shoulder to lift and drop and get mobility in there. And once you have that pretty well at the walk, then do the same thing at the trot. So check in with your toes. Are they nice and soft? Then my ankle. And then my lower leg, is it soft, or am I clenching, or am I way up here with my leg? Is my leg position in a good place? If not, you start moving it to where it's more underneath you. Start stretching that. And then from our knee to our hip, are you squeezing there? So I'm softening, I'm really moving it around. Maybe I need to take my leg out. Or sometimes if you're gripping or you're kind of forward with your leg, is just halt, bring your heel up, grab your foot like this and just bring your knee back some, and then let that stretch your inner thigh open, and you can even lean back, but don't lean back where you arch your back. I want you to kind of open, rock your pelvis backwards as you do this, and just hold it a minute or so, and then allow the leg to drop and find and feel that, and then you can pick up your stirrup and then go back into your trotting again, or whatever gaits you're at, and see, did that help? And then we're checking in with our pelvis. Is it soft? Is it moving with the horse? And then the lower back. So sometimes just leaning to the inside or to the outside. And see, she's feeling it. Nisa's feeling that, and she's like, hey, what are you doing? And that's why this is so important, is if you're not moving with the horse feels it. So I might just rock back and forth, stretch. You can even do your airplane. It's kind of going to the inside and rotating to the outside. Just really letting that stretch your body. And again, bringing your hand back onto the horse's back here. Now this is going to be a lot more challenging at the trot. When you do this, try to keep your hand planted on the horse's back. And let that motion go up into your shoulder, because that helps your upper back and your shoulder. And if your neck, roll your neck around. Get it soft, pliable, and then your jaw. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. And then work on that at the walk trot, and then once you get up to the canter, you can do the same thing at the canter too. Is just work on getting yourself soft, pliable, moving with. Now, this isn't about getting so loose that you're just up here and you're just a puddle. You're just kind of flopping all over the place. So there's a balance between being loose, being pliable, and then being too tight or too loose. So if you have the extreme of being too tight, you're not moving with the horse. You're getting in the horse's way, and if you're too loose, you can't really be effective. So it's finding that middle ground, and what I like to think of it is as a good handshake. When you come out and somebody shakes your hand and they're picking up and down like a jackhammer, that's like being really stiff. There's no fluidity going back and forth between you and the other person. Or you have a handshake where it's like a wet noodle. There's nothing there. It's just kind of floppy. That doesn't feel good either. There's really no communication. You kind of like, ooh, that doesn't feel good. You want to almost drop it. And then there's the good handshake where there's a give and take, back and forth. And that's what we're looking to do with our body up on the horse, is can we give and take? And that's the second part of this, is moving with your horse. So we've loosened up our body, we've got with our horse. Now, are we doing enough, but not too much? So often, it's the tension first, and then, actually I see this part of it, moving with the horse with more advanced riders, is they tend to want to push each stride. It's like they're manipulating the stride. They think they need to tone their body or cause the movement to happen. I don't really follow that line of philosophy, because what I find is it actually gets in the horse's way. So if I start pushing her walk, I'm not going to be perfect in my ability to move with her. So the idea is, whatever her back is doing right now, she's at a walk, so her back has the movement of a walk. Can my seat follow that? Not doing more, not doing less. If you do too much, you're going to get in the way, and that's what happens when you push. If you don't do enough, and that's what happens if you're too tight, you block them. You're not moving enough. And that blocking, so there is what I use for communicating with my horse. So I just kind of stopped my seat and got in her way, interrupted her rhythm of her walk, and she said, oh, okay, I need to stop. Along with, I'm kind of shutting off my intent, my life, so I turn off, and she's coming down. But if she doesn't, then I just kind of get in her way a little bit. And she goes, oh, okay, I need to stop. So when I go off, instead of me pushing her, is I create energy to say, let's go. And then I move with her. And I move with the amount of movement that she has. So at the walk, it's a 4 beat. And at the trot, it's 2 beat. So I need to be able to move my body with that movement. And that's why you want to make sure you have your body parts loose first, but then don't get up here and push. Where I really see it is the canter. People tend to want to drive with their seat like this. They're pushing, which gets in the horse's way. If you can just flow with the horse, allow your body to move with the movement the horse offers, you're not getting in the horse's way. Now, if you want to do something, like here, if I want to slow down, then I might start tensing part of my body a little bit just to say, shut off. So it's like I soften, you know, that's kind of a two-part here. I soften, and if they don't come down, then I'm going to tense up just particular parts of my body. I might squeeze a little bit with my knees. I might step into the stirrups a little bit. So that's like an extra cue to say, hey, can you pay attention to my life down, my softening? And once you get that, now you're getting that communication. You're getting the connection. You're moving with your horse instead of getting in the way of the horse. So if the horse has this movement and you're saying go or move more or doing more, you're actually pushing into their feet and you're going to start shutting them off. Horses learn to override that, yes. But the more you can move with your horse, the easier it is for your horse to start moving underneath you and going out there and doing all these beautiful movements. So go out there, play with that. I thank you for watching. Check your inbox. In the next couple days, I'm going to send you another instructional video as a bonus for checking this one out. So thanks for watching.